every new year I start off setting goals for what I want to accomplish. But before I ever set any of those goals, I like to reflect on the previous year and the things that I've learned. And as I started writing down all of those things, I realized I was just scripting a YouTube video that I should share with everyone. So I'm just going to share with you my top 7 lessons that I learned in 2021 that allowed me to have my best year ever in all aspects. If you're new to my channel, my name's Ryan Pineda. I'm a real estate investor and entrepreneur, and I just launched a project called The Wealthy Way. Everything in it is completely free, including our online course, our planner app, and our Discord community. If you want to get access to those things, just go to wealthyway.com and you can get access today. Lesson number 1 is that attracting talented people has pushed me forward further than anything that I personally have ever done. This year, I had a bunch of new people come into my life that have drastically changed my businesses and my income. To just name a few people in 2021, I met my partner Tony Guzman, who I started Lunar Ecom with. We now have over 300 clients and we're growing at a rapid pace because I met him. Another person I met is Austin Garwood, who's my head of operations at Pineda Capital. Before last year, I hadn't bought any big multifamily, and since meeting him, we purchased a 334 unit, and we're in contract to purchase a 96 unit now. I would not have been able to do those deals without his help. Another person is my producer, Justin Barry. He's the head of all of my content for my personal brand. He's the one overseeing all these YouTube videos, overseeing the TikToks, the sponsors, and everything else related to creating content. We're not able to put out everything we do without him joining the team. If you signed up for The Wealthy Way, then you notice that we have a planner that's a pretty sick web app. I did not have plans to create that app until I met our developers, Daniel and Dylan. They took an idea and a concept I had for a planner and made it a reality way quicker than I ever imagined could be possible. In Future Flipper, I ended up making one of my students, Brian Davila, the COO. And in turn, he was able to help push the company to levels that I wouldn't even have thought were possible last year. Another person I met last year was one of my students named Amr Samaha. Even though he started as a student in Future Flipper, him and I ended up partnering up, and now he is building my dream home on the mountain, and we're also working on a ton of other things related to NFT developments for digital real estate. And the reason I'm sharing those stories is because they all contributed something new to my life this year that did not exist previously. They're really talented people that took advantage of an opportunity, and now because we are working together, we're able to go further. So that's the first thing I learned in 2021 as I look back. The second thing I learned was that I should have been far more aggressive in real estate. In hindsight, obviously we should have bought a ton more properties that we passed up on because we were a little iffy on the numbers. Had we bought them, we could have added multiple 7 figures to the bottom line. But there were signs that we saw that should have made us become more aggressive with our purchases. When we saw interest rates dropping and supply dropping, we should have realized that prices had to go up and that we should get more aggressive. So as I look at 2022, I will not be making that same mistake. When we notice the right trends are happening, we are going to get more aggressive. The third big lesson I learned was something I already knew, but once you actually reflect on it and you see the fruits of it, you start to realize how important it is. And that lesson is that networking is so important. Earlier in the year, I got to speak at my friend Tim Brotz's event. Tim is a very big multifamily investor, and it was a fun event. But what I didn't realize was by going to that event, later on, it led to Tim and I doing a deal together. That 334 unit apartment building I bought was because I had networked with Tim and we built a better relationship. Another big networking moment for me was when I got to go to Puerto Rico in February. It was an invite-only mastermind that my friend Brett Knutson set up, and the funny part is it didn't even have a cost. It was set up so people could network and brainstorm and mastermind. And at that event, I got a ton of great feedback from other people that drastically changed my businesses. Seriously, going to that one event ended up leading to millions of dollars in revenue from things that I shifted after. So network with as many high-level people as you can, as often as you can. The fourth biggest lesson I learned is that done-for-you services are a great business strategy. If you're wondering what a done-for-you service is, it's essentially when people pay you to do something for them. My 2 biggest examples of this would be Lunar Ecom and Pineda Capital, which I've been talking about. With Lunar Ecom, we create automated e-commerce stores for our clients. They pay us, we manage the stores, we all split profits together. They don't have to do anything, we do it for them. Thus the done for you. The same thing is true with Pineda Capital. We go find the deals, we fix them up, we get them renovated. All the investors have to do is put their money with us. So if you own a business, think about how you can add done-for-you service to your product line. The fifth lesson I learned is how valuable a podcast really is. For those of you who don't know, I started my podcast called The Ryan Pineda Show last year, and it's done extremely well. It's got over 1,500 five-star reviews on Apple, and we filmed over 100 episodes. But the one thing I didn't realize the podcast was gonna do was attract high-level people that I could mastermind with. To name a few, on the podcast, I've had Grant Cardone on, I've had Graham Stephan, I've had John Acuff, who's a New York Times bestseller, I had Chris Bryant, who's won an MVP and a World Series. And so by having this podcast, it's kind of a lead magnet to get high-level people to talk to. And eventually it could lead to other business endeavors or opportunities down the road because we've built a better relationship. So I knew that the podcast was gonna be good for content when I first started, but I didn't realize how good it was gonna be for the relationships and the masterminding outside of the podcast. The sixth lesson I learned is that I'm really glad I picked up golf last year. Originally, I did it to join the country club and network and just have fun. If you couldn't tell, a big theme of all these lessons is that people are the key. Getting around the right people is really what makes the difference for success. But nonetheless, golf ended up evolving for me a bit differently than I anticipated. I had this idea that people probably would pay to golf with me so that they could network. And so I launched a product called Golf with Ryan where people could buy a ticket to go golf with me here in Vegas. I actually met some really high caliber people doing some big things that I'm gonna be able to do business with in the future. Now, the one thing is I can't say they're very good golfers. Most of them are not very good at all. But on the business side, I'm really happy that I've met these people. Lesson number 7 is that I realized social media had an unintended consequence. I knew that it was gonna be good for my business, and I knew that it was gonna attract people into my life like I've been talking about. But what I didn't realize it was gonna do was help me understand myself more. This video is me doing self-evaluation. And other videos are very similar. Most of my content is me talking about stuff that I'm actually doing. There's a reason I don't talk about the news and other people very often, because it's more work for me to go research what's going on versus to just tell you exactly what I'm doing in my life and in my business. And every time I do a video talking about what I'm doing, I have to script it out, I have to gather my thoughts, and I have to really evaluate if what I'm doing is right, if I'm willing to share it with the world. And so by creating all this content, it's helped me to become more self-aware of what I'm doing. But anyways, I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you start living 2022 the wealthy way. Go download all the free resources at wealthyway.com, and I'll catch you on the next video. Peace.